We got a lot to get into today.
Whoa.
I had a long weekend. It was good though. It was good.
Okay.
You know what I think is funny? You ever meet people who think they're gonna be rich?
All the time.
That's such a weird thing. Like, why you? I mean, I think you should aspire to it, but some people just be like. I was having a conversation with somebody over the weekend, and they were just like, like we were talking about future plans, and in their plans, you needed a lot of money, and I was like, where is this money coming from? And they were just like, like I plan to be rich, but I'm like, but I'm all for like, but you just have a 9 to 5. So some people just think, I don't know, what do people think that is just gonna fall on their lap?
But are they making plans as like not including the work? Like it's not saying that I'm gonna start a business and then I'm gonna be rich. It's like more so like
no, it was not included the work.
It's I'm already rich. And,
no. It was more along the lines of like I've been looking at houses, right? And I'm like, all right, cool. Okay. And then what the houses are, and then they show you the houses, and it's like $3 to $4 million homes.
They're already doing the property. Property
and
search.
they're like, the school system is good, so I'm gonna be good with the family.
When you start researching the school system, that's how you know that like you're already like 2 steps ahead in the planning phase. So they already have the money.
I mean, they believe that is happening, but this is not, I'm not making fun of them because I think this is most people.
Yeah,
most people think they're gonna be rich at some point.
Yo, I think it's because of social media.
Is it?
I think so, because everybody's already like lit. So everybody's just like, they're one viral moment away from that $4 million house with the pool in the backyard.
That's true. But I mean, at least I would like it if you post, if you like, you got to be taking swings. I just don't get it when people think they're going to be rich, but they're not taking swings.
No swings.
It's like you're not posting, you're not pursuing a business, you're not pursuing a skill or nothing. You just work. Like you just work. You know what your check is going to be. You know what top pay is going to be at your job. How are you going to be rich?
I don't. That's a good question, bro.
I want to ask. I'm like, how? Some people I ask if I'm close enough. I'm like, how? How are you going to be rich?
And you're not asking from like an asshole perspective. You're asking in general, like genuine curiosity.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and what are the answers what's the feedback that you get?
Some people just, I mean, I've asked this before to people who are, professing about all the things they're going to buy. And then they're like, once I get money, and I'm like, how you going to get money? And they're just, some people believe in God a lot. They're like, God is gonna put this in my path. I know I'm in my 60s and I've been poor my whole life, but I think for the last quarter of my life, God is really gonna
look out
and give me the millions of dollars
make it come out of nowhere
that I deserve. Right. Which being rich is like, I mean, I never set that as a goal of rich, like I want to be rich. What's rich?
I think rich is relative. That's a t-shirt. But I think, man, especially the way America works, you definitely need to have some bread, though. I'm a big nerd, and I subscribe to this newsletter called Medium, and it's a bunch of people writing articles and all that type of stuff. When I'm battling,
it's a newsletter,
yeah, battling my depression.
To a newsletter. It's just a bunch of people writing articles.
And one dude wrote an article. He was like, the things that I wish the things I learned in my 40s that I wish I knew in my 20s.
Oh, you remember some of these?
Yeah.
All right.
I took a screenshot.
I'll please
pull it out.
Yeah, this is perfect. These are the things I
wish I knew.
The things I learned in my
40s that I wish I knew in my 20s.
This is right down the podcast.
The lane.
Pipeline.
And he was saying that like, number 14 is one of the things that I think you say all the time. All the losers do the same. Complain. Just do the work, your best, and try to improve daily. Sooner or later, you'll win the game. And shut the fuck up. Excuse me, you're gonna have to bleep that out.
I mean, see, this is why I generally think I'm better than people, because I'm 34 and I'm already saying some of these rules that it took this guy until he was 40 to get down pat.
Yeah.
So, this is why we started the podcast. It was just too much wisdom to give.
Right? Overflowing. But I think, so the number one thing he said is that to live good, you need health, wealth, and time. And I'm like, damn, that I'm 35, and I'm like,
Yeah.
shit,
Not much time.
How long I've been hanging out with Ian? I just now learned this. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
it's the truth. You know, you don't need a billions. I don't need no billions, but you definitely need a good cushion.
Health is number one.
That's number one.
And the number two is not even close.
Yeah.
Like, I think wealth is nice, but health is 1, 2, and 3.
And he broke it down by saying that, like, if you don't have health, time or wealth don't matter, because you're gonna be wishing that you were healthy.
What does he mean by time? Like free time?
Free time, like time to like travel or spend with your family, because you also don't want to just be working 24 hours a day, because then it's like, what are you working for?
Well, some people don't hate their jobs, right? They enjoy what they do.
Like comedians?
Yeah, I mean, some comedians hate it, not all. Some comedians hate it. It's not. I mean, it's
not easy.
Yeah, it could be a fun job, but it gets tedious. You traveling every weekend. You at an airport every weekend. That stuff could be annoying. But some people just enjoy what they do. So, I mean, I think I'm one of these people that sometimes people will tell me, when do you go out and do stuff for fun? And I'm like, oh, my job is fun. I get to. So I don't really on a night off. I might just stay home and rest. I might just stay home and watch TV because normally my day to day is I find at least fun. But like everything, even fun, there is times where you're upset or you're annoyed, you can't get things to work, whatever. We all have those things. But I think health is like having health. You can't buy it.
It's definitely number one, and it's definitely number one as you get older, but you see your family members get older too.
Yeah.
Your parents, your aunts and uncles, where it's just like, damn, I'm 30, and if they got 30 on me, they 60, 70 plus, and it's just like, they're entering that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Talking to God, talking about, I'm going to get rich.
No, for sure. And then sometimes you forget that people who are older were people before you came around.
Facts.
Like I'm 34. My mom had me when she was 37. I was the youngest. So she had me in her life. I'm not even as old as she was when she had me.
She had a full life.
She lived like a whole 3 to 4 more years than I've lived before I came into the world, which
rest in peace,
makes you think like, what y'all was doing like before I got here? Because I don't think it was fun.
I think it was different. Maybe it was fun in the sense of, man, anybody that lived through the 60s and the 70s, they was just out here wilding. They talk about us wilding with social media and stuff, but like, again, it was all free love. They was going to the club at 15 and 16. I know I talk to a lot of older people. They talk about they were going to Studio 54 at 15 and 16. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Where are you going?
But I think the notion, I was having a conversation about this recently. I think the notion, when we look back at history and we look back at people, sometimes we look at them with today's speed limit and we'll say like, oh, they was wilding. But I'm like, they wasn't. In the time, they was just living the time that was how everyone lived.
Yeah. But I also, whenever I take my supplements, I also think about like how we're gonna look back at these times and be like, man, what the hell were they doing?
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think these times are great. I'm not a doom and gloom guy. I don't think these times are great though.
Yeah.
I think that there's good things about it, but we live in a time right now where legitimately everybody just has their own set of facts. And whatever you believe, like there's a scientist on YouTube that agrees with
that's gonna second that.
Yeah, that's gonna back it up. And there's a meeting on Saturdays at the Holiday Inn conference room where people who, believe that,
Breakfast.
the earth is the sun. Yeah. And they meet at the thing and they show you proof. Like, this is why the earth is the sun. And then the proof is like, it makes sense to, if you don't know nothing about nothing, they're like, you see, this is the earth and it's hot. So why isn't it the sun?
Yeah.
And then people are like, you see? And then they call everyone else who thinks the earth is earth idiots and sheep. Yeah. And you believe what anyone tells you.
Yeah. And that you're brainwashed, but then they're just there for the continental breakfast too, before 11.
Yeah.
Trying to get the free bagels, cookies.
I mean, the amount of people, do you have conspiracy theorists in your life?
Me?
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to become more of a conspiracy theorist because it's some things, they just line up too well. And I know it's manipulated, but at the same time too, it's just like, it's too blatant. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know the conspiracies I'm thinking about, but I just feel like that's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Big announcement. I am going to be filming my third comedy special December 21st in New York City, Saturday night. Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to ianlaralive.com and scroll down to December 21st and you can buy tickets. I'm filming it at LPR, La Poisson Rouge, which is a rock club in New York City. The tickets are gonna sell out, so please jump on them. We're already down to like the last few tickets on show one. We're gonna add another show most likely. So get your tickets, ianlaralive.com. Come watch me film my third special. I've been touring for 2 years and it's ready for you guys. Thank you. Johan, you seem like a conspiracy theorist.
Definitely.
You're from Arizona. Do you have any what's your like best conspiracy theory?
Like best one or the one
like one that you like really believe? Like if they was like give up all the other ones, but this one I'll die thinking that this is true.
The moon landing one.
That is fake?
That is fake?
I don't think
that it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
See,
we
I
probably
subscribe to that.
we probably went to the moon after, but like that one specifically, I don't think we did.
But can you tell me why?
I just like the whole propaganda thing to it. Like the video just also doesn't look like legit. Like, you know.
Even though you say that as a person who doesn't know much about space videos.
I mean, the people that do though,
okay,
they kind of say, you know, they back what I mean, it kind of goes back to what you're saying, like how people are just, there's a scientist out there that's just going to prove what I think is real.
Very true.
Right.
But yeah, I think that one, just like the whole like thing with like the propaganda, they were like, you know, racing and stuff, and you know, it was basically like a race.
Now let me ask you this: Can I counter this?
Wait, can I? You want to counter first?
You go ahead.
My thing is, every car didn't even have a backup camera until 2024.
Right.
So you telling me that in 1960, what is it, 68, 69, they made it past the atmosphere to go to the moon? Do you know the distance from the Earth to the moon?
Yes.
With some calculators. I'm just saying, like from a logistical standpoint, the computers that they had, they weren't nowhere near as advanced as what we have in our cell phone.
The computers that were available to everyday people weren't. But the computers that was available to NASA have always been ahead of its time.
Why we ain't been back
to the moon?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they say the reason that we haven't been back is because we literally stopped funding the program to go to the moon.
That makes a lot of sense too.
They just stopped funding because
been there, done that.
We went here and we didn't. And I don't know anything about, I don't want the comments killing me, telling me that I'm an idiot for believing the scientists. But I one thing that I found as a counter argument that I'm like, well, this should shut it down, because I'm not gonna disrespect our intelligence. We're all very intelligent people, but to be honest, we're sitting in the room doing a podcast talking about
newsletters,
telling women how they should behave when they're around men. So we're not exactly we're not
working with the top brass.
Right, we're not groundbreaking intellectuals.
We're not on the inside.
Right. We're just three guys and a girl just kind of figuring it out.
Two of us are wearing
I had trouble getting up here because I pressed the button on the elevator and I didn't know which one it was signaling to. So I was there for like 6 minutes until the guy was like, "Hey, this one with the number right above it," and then I went. So I say that to say, we're not the sharpest scientists in the scientist room.
I still use pen and paper.
Right. Yet we're here, right? We're here, and we're trying to make counter debates as to why we don't believe what the scientists were saying about going to the moon. But at the time when there was a race to go to the moon, one of our biggest adversaries, which was the Soviet Union,
USSR,
they were competing just as hard, if not harder, to go to the moon. If anyone had any interest in proving that the moon landing was fake, it would be the Soviet Union, which is now modern day Russia.
Point that I had not thought about is like Russia would have gotten us.
Right.
Wow, that's a great point.
At that point, there was the two most advanced scientists and astronauts were in the United States and in Russia, and they were competing versus each other to get to the moon. If that were the case where it was so obviously a fake landing, wouldn't the Soviets be the first? I mean, literally the kings of misinformation. Wouldn't they be the first ones to be like, "Hey guys, this is wrong and here's why"?
Well, how do we know they weren't the ones that started pushing that rhetoric. Like
even till this day, they don't like the people who don't believe that the moon landing is real are Americans.
Right, but like who knows if the Russian spy was the one that first started putting it on like forums and stuff. And
Right,
when they just embarrassed us,
Yeah, that's true, but that's just misinformation. But I'm saying like, if it was as simple as the people who don't believe make it seem like, oh, I just don't believe we did. I don't believe that. On the world stage, like they would have been like, they were literally trying to embarrass the United States back and forth. They were going back and forth, like with spies leaking Soviet information and Soviet spies leaking American information.
That's the best conspiracy bust I've ever heard about the moon landing. I'm like, obviously they didn't say anything because we did get their asses and we beat them there.
I mean, it was just, I feel like they had the ability, they had the microphone, they had the megaphone, they had the scientists, they had the ability to present a case of why it's fake at the time, and they didn't.
And if they did have Russian spies working for like NASA, they probably could have leaked those.
Which they did. They had spies in NASA, they had spies in the military. And they were literally fighting to make an atomic bomb.
Yeah. My thing is, I don't not believe the scientists that say, it's not that I disbelieve that we went to the moon, but at the same time too, it's like I can't not believe the facts against it either, because they present like actual like legitimate arguments, especially like as more scientists talk about just how challenging it is and like the barriers of like you have to get past a certain area in space before you can even get to the moon, like 30 minutes. Yeah, I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. Like I was on there and Joe was trying to steel man him or whatever, but it was just like, it's too logical. First of all, when has America done something and not ran it right back and not taunted it in everybody's face, like, and not released the files? Like the Black Bush, like, we got them. We got to the moon.
They dropped an atomic bomb in Japan and never did it again.
They did it twice.
I'm saying that was within the same war. It was like within weeks, but I'm saying they never ran it back. Like they never did it again.
But that's because of the detriment that it caused to the world.
Right.
You know, but I feel like, why haven't we done it again? And like, you telling me with the technology that was available. So if just on a logical scale, the technology has advanced since then, right? Mm-hmm. We have full-blown computers. The computers at the time of the moon landing were the size of this room, right? And it could only perform like a T88. What's the calculator we use in school? T89?
Yeah.
Whoa,
right?
That's a throwback.
That's how strong, that's how powerful to the normal man, right? That's how powerful the computers were.
Yeah.
So you're telling me, what is it, 40, 50, 60 years and we haven't been back? They got people stuck in space now. They're not trusting Boeing. They got to call Elon. Yo, Elon, what's up? Come scoop me up, son. You know what I'm saying?
Now I'm back on ATM.
But the spaceship came back. The spaceship did come back.
Without them.
They weren't on it.
Yeah, so it's like, if we made it to and I want us to have landed on the moon, because I think that's fly. Like, I'm really into space and all of that. But at the same time, too, it's just like, my thing is just stop lying to us, bro.
Well, I mean, I don't care. I legitimately don't care if we went or not. Didn't.
Yeah.
I'm more interested with the thought process that goes to somebody just not believing in our institutions at all. I'm more fascinated by that, which the act of whether we did or not, I'm like, whatever, I don't care. But
I'm still in Brooklyn, son.
Don't you think? No.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, don't you think? I think the biggest thing of our lifetimes has been we've seen so many institutions that we're supposed to trust like crumble. I think part of that's because social media and more of us are talking, but then it's like, obviously with what's gone on in like a ton of like the Catholic Church with Spotlight, like everybody trusted the church for their morals. And then that's a nightmare. And then with the Trump of it all in American politics, like blowing up in the last 15 years, I think people just don't believe in anything, like just are questioning everything right now, which is why there's more conspiracy theories.
Well, I think it's okay to question things. I think you should question things, but I think the the dismantling of institutions is not good for democracy. Democracy relies on you believing in things, right? You have to believe that things work. And that's not to say that they work perfectly, but if you start to believe that nothing is true and nothing's work, that's when a dictator comes.
100%.
Because the dictator tells you this is what it is, and then you believe that person, which we're seeing a little bit of it now. I mean, there's people on one side that don't believe anything that the government has to say. Everything is a lie. Everything is fake. They're out to get you. Yet they believe one man.
Yeah.
Who's known for like
lying,
which, you know, I'm pro liars, you know, I like liars, but he's known for lying and they just believe it.
You talk about who? DP?
They just believe it, which is fine. Believe whatever you like. But it's like, isn't that interesting that you don't believe nothing that has like backed up by history and other people, but you just believe like one man? Because like, if it were me, I would lie.
I think it's more so too the fact that like I'm going on a total tangent, but I feel like everybody who's like kept that tradition going on, they're like aging out. You know what I mean? The baby boomers, the Gen Xers who like they did as they were told. And like everyone younger who's in those you know, higher government agencies, they're just like, hold on, like this ain't what we telling the people. Like I feel like it's more about just, it's not even a party thing. It's just like, yo, can you just tell us the truth? You know what I'm saying? Especially like case in point, with all of these documentaries coming out with what's the Sackler family that fudged all of the paperwork with the FDA to basically have a whole generation of people stuck on opioids. It's just like, all right, hold on, son. Who was in there at the government agency that after they did their tenure, now they're working for Sackler and they got all of the facts are coming out where it's just like we want to believe that it's right and we want to believe that we have moral and genuine people working there, but then there's too many examples of people like screwing people over.
Yeah.
Right, but again, some things logically make sense, right? Like if I told you that I was a pharmaceutical company and I was making up numbers in order to be able to sell or keep people addicted to opioids, as bad as that is, as a person or a company or corporation to do, that logically adds up. It's like, oh, you're trying to make billions of dollars and this is why you do. But some conspiracies that people throw at me, I'm like, why? Why would we do this? Like, why would we do this?
Yeah.
Like, this has nothing to do with nothing. And I don't know what's real or not, but I find that sometimes the conspiracy theory people are more sure that it's a conspiracy than the other people are like, I don't know.
Committed to their truth.
Yeah.
Even if it's fully false, and they are choosing
like,
to live in that reality.
I don't know.
And they speak in facts. That's what, and that's when I can't like subscribe to it. When they're like, how do you know? You were there.
They speak in facts.
They speak in facts.
Because a lot of
they
times,
speak in something, not facts.
Alternative facts.
But they articulate it like it's true. Like, no, this happened. Yo, the world.
Which they might be right. They might be. You can't be. No one's wrong about everything.
Bro,
right?
the earth is the sun.
You're wrong about something.
And nobody's right about everything.
Right, nobody's right about everything. So sure, some things might be correct. Some things might be true. But I don't think that. I think most of them are not.
Yeah.
I think most of them are not true. Some of them are. But to answer your previous point about how advanced science was, or inadvanced science was back then compared to now, certain things at the time in the 50s, 60s, 70s, the United States put money into the development and advancement of that thing, which once they achieved it, they kind of regressed. So, for example, another thing is like the Concorde. The Concorde airplane was this airplane that could get you to London in like 3 hours, and it was super fast, super hypersonic, and the airline industry put a lot of money into that plane, into developing it. But then once they did it, it ran for years, and they saw how fuel inefficient it was and how loud it was. It went away. Yeah. And there's no Concorde now. So if you was born in the 70s, if you was in the 70s and you looking at the Concorde, you're going to think by 2024, we're going to have spaceships, right?
True.
But in 2024, we don't even have the Concorde. We've regressed in aviation as far as like speed, I guess it goes, which lends an example of like sometimes the technology doesn't just continue to expand, which with the moon stuff is like we stopped going to the moon, but we landed a rover on Mars. We got the space station. Like the space thing has developed. It's not like we never been anywhere. It's also like, I don't know why go to the moon.
I mean, yeah, there's a part of me where I like definitely where I'm like, okay, they could have. I'm also not 100% sold on that they didn't. You know, that's just the one that I'm like, okay, it could you know, just because of like the politics around it. But there is a part of me where I'm like, okay, they probably did go, and we probably didn't go because, like you're saying right now, is like it's just a big ass rock. There's probably nothing on there. Like we probably have gotten what we've needed from it, and now that's why we're trying to go to Mars. Like,
I mean, I think that's just at least people should be able to concede that's just as a reasonable argument as your conspiracy theory.
No, 1,000.
Sometimes people try to pretend that the real thing that they say is so far-fetched. I'm like, more far-fetched than this theory you've created?
Yeah. No, you know what I think it is too? Is the fact that like you grow up and you realize that a lot of people that are running the government, that are in politics, are bozos too. So it's just like, man, this person is running this program, like this person is running this person is running the country. So it's just like, this is crazy.
I have to say, when I interned in Washington, D.C. after like in my summer between junior and senior year of college. So Trump was in office. And so I would like mix it up at parties with the White House interns who traditionally are like some of our nation's best and brightest. And I'm getting a drink next to this girl. She's gorgeous, obviously Clemson cheerleader. It was like, oh, like kind of like we get into work, obviously DC, like talking business. She's like, yeah, I'm work for Space Force. I was like, no offense, but I'm like, this girl is working on our space program. Like, I don't know.
Pretty girls should not be working in space.
Pretty girl privilege, PGP.
That's Carmen's stance.
She pretty. She prettied her way into the Space Force.
Be smart.
She couldn't call an Uber, but she's programming our E-rate.
Right.
Well, Monica Lewinsky was a White House intern.
She's an icon and a legend, and she should be spoken with respect.
She should be on your merch.
She was just a fresh out of college White House intern.
That's crazy.
Right under the president.
Bill was wild, bro.
Yeah, is it that crazy though?
Yeah, an intern.
I don't think an intern hooking up with their boss is crazy at all.
It's not crazy.
I'm like, that's all of. Have you watched Mad Men? I'm
right,
like, that's all of history.
Yeah, that's how it used to be. That's how you used to get ahead.
Yeah.
Period.
When you put it that way.
What do you guys think of Area 51? Like aliens.
Okay.
Now, are we going there? We're going there. It's Marvel's for the boys. We're here now. Look, can I... I'm a big Joe Rogan fan. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to young Jamie. I feel like, man, especially when it comes to extraterrestrial life forms.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I don't know if they do exist. But there's just things where it's just like, hold on, man. Like, what are you not telling us? What are you not telling us?
I believe that they probably exist. I don't think we have them at Area 51, though.
We got them. You know where we got them? Grand Central. You ever been to Grand Central at 2:00 in the morning before?
Isn't that in Men in Black?
Maybe, but before. No, I'm talking about before the last train to White Plains. Them motherfuckers be in there.
Yeah.
I think they exist. I'm a big space guy. I think they exist. I think it's almost silly to believe that they don't exist. I just don't think that they're necessarily here.
Yeah. No, and some of the reasonable arguments that I've heard about it, that is just like, okay, that makes sense. Not to say that I subscribe to them, but they're like, it's the same with us when you have like ant colonies. If they're so much further advanced in their technology and their perspectives, they can view us
right
without having to interfere and then like study us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense because we do it too. We have zoos, we have all of that type of stuff. So it's not that far-fetched.
And to be clear, I do believe that government and people in general, people in power and people in general, we lie. That's a human trait. Humans lie to feed whatever interest they have, and the government is no better. So the government does lie to its citizens in order to feed whatever interest benefits them. But at the same time, I think we can say like, look, we can question the government, but also do we have to go so far out with these like conspiracy theories that like, and this is something that people do now. You can't even have a debate now because what people do is like you debate. Like, for example, you see how like I asked you, what's a conspiracy theory that you believe in or whatever. He said the moon landing, but it was kind of like a casual back and forth. But what people do now is they'll spend weeks in their basement learning stuff and reading these far-fetched studies about, you know, the moon landing, and then they'll bring about, then you'll debate, like you'll start talking about the moon landing and they'll be like, what about the Mars study? And you're like, what's the Mars study? And they're like, the study that shows that nobody, if you step a foot on the moon, your head blows off. And I'm like, I don't know about that study. It's like,
and then you don't know about the Mars study?
You don't know about the Mars study? Well, then you don't know nothing. And it's like, all right, well, I guess I guess we can't. I saw this on I forgot who was talking about, but some dude, he's an intellectual dude. He was talking about it. He was like, when you're gonna debate something, you should be able to, like, if we're gonna debate the moon landing, we should have to, like, put in our sources before, like, what we're gonna source, so the other person can discredit that source, right? Because if you talk about the Mars study, I'm like, who's the Mars study? You're like, NASA. I'm like, I don't know nothing about the Mars study. But if you look into the Mars study, it was done by some kook job that got fired from NASA. But I don't know this information, so I can't counter you. So on a podcast on the internet, it makes it seem like you're making sense.
No,
because I didn't know that you were gonna source the
But
Mars.
you should fact check in real life. Like when everybody freaks out at the debates about fact checking, I'm like, well, you're on a national stage. Like, why are you afraid for us to say if you're lying or not?
Well, I mean, even fact checking, people, like, you'll fact check them and people be like, that's not fact.
Yeah, New York Times is rigged.
Yeah,
whatever.
that's not fact.
But then the thing is too, you bring up a good point where, like, number one, I feel like everybody should be fact checks, because, like, what's the point of having Google if you're not going to check, like, wait, what did you say? No, because back in the day, you'd have to look into what is it, encyclopedia, and go and highlight it, be like, nah, Britannica says this. So that's number one. But number two, you bring up a great point in the sense of, even though you, like, whoever's doing it, like, who funded the studies? Because everything is fudgeable now. Like, depending on what you want the end result to be, like, I'm paying, if I got the bread, I'm paying $100 million to say Mars landing didn't happen, moon landing didn't happen, and then it's just like, what are you going to do? Oh, well, I based it off the study. But it's just like, no, you have a personal interest in dispelling that theory, right?
But I mean, and look, this is on YouTube, which is literally a minefield for conspiracy theories. I mean, this will probably be our most listened to episode just because we're talking about conspiracy, and the algorithm.
It's not because of the mall. I thought it was because of the mall.
The algorithm absolutely loves the conspiracy theories, but I'm like, is that any way to live? Just like everything, you just disbelieve every single thing that ever gets.
It's exhausting.
But just don't believe your lying eyes.
Yeah,
nothing is true. Everything is fake. What are some other ones? What are some other conspiracies?
You know what's true? The Adulthood podcast. This is real, son.
My barber, I was just talking about.
You got a good fade.
My old barber from Arizona, he's my best friend's dad. He's cut me up since I was like in 8th grade.
Did he ever push your hairline back?
Nah, nah. Thankful for that. But he's like sometime between high school, like in between high school, he like converted to like a Christian, and he turned into like one of those like flat earthers, like hardcore Christians, and like hardcore Christian, Republican Christian. And like he believes like how you're saying, like he believes nothing is like real. Like he doesn't believe in space. He like doesn't believe in the moon. Like he doesn't
believe in the moon.
Or he doesn't think the moon is real or the sun is real.
See,
I haven't really gotten into it with them.
Conspiracy theory path, there's always going to be somebody's going to one up you. But so you're like, some people are like, I don't believe the moon landing happened, and some people be like, I don't believe there's a moon, and then other people's like, I don't believe there's space. Damn.
He literally doesn't believe in space.
Hold on. But you bring up, you had brought up a great point where it's like, yo, how did he get to that? Like, what was the progression to go from point A to point? I don't believe in space.
It's easy to get radicalized now because the algorithm will just keep feeding you the same BS that you keep liking and want to believe.
Is that what happens? You just get programmed to get programmed again?
Yeah, that's exactly.
There's like a whole there's like a whole community where like that they believe that the Bible is what is funneling all these like ideas about like space not being real and like the earth being flat. Like supposedly like in the Bible it says like that the earth is flat, and that's why he believes it, because he's like I said, he's Christian, and he like hardcore Christian.
Hardcore
yeah
Christian.
And so he like that's what he stands on. type thing.
Well, I mean, you know what? I've been going at it the wrong way. Like the whole time with conspiracy theories, I've been going back. Like when I argue with them, I've been taking the logical route with them.
You can't.
I'm gonna do the opposite. I'm gonna out conspiracy you.
Yeah, you have to not.
So send me your conspiracy theory, and I'm gonna out conspiracy you. You tell me the Earth is flat, I'm gonna say the Earth is triangle. It's a triangle, like the diamond,
like a diamond,
like Rockefeller.
Yeah,
that's the Earth.
That's the Earth.
Illuminati.
I was
Like
just
the
going to say,
pyramids.
what do you think of the Illuminati? Because that's my favorite fun one.
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati one is fun.
Yeah.
They don't process applications quickly though.
Yeah.
It took a long time.
Well, I heard one time I saw Meth Bleak, who was one of Jay-Z's biggest best friends since they was kids, was in Rockefeller. They grew up together. He was doing Drink Champs, and on Drink Champs, they asked him about the Illuminati, and he was like, what pisses him off about the Illuminati, because you know they put that on Jay-Z. They say Jay-Z is Illuminati.
Beyonce.
He was like, what pisses him off the most is like, he says, is disrespect to him. He was like, so y'all think that the Illuminati was handing out careers to my friends? And I was like, nah, I don't want it.
I turned it down.
I want to struggle my whole life. Like I'm a dickhead. Like everyone, y'all go ahead.
Bro.
Y'all be rich and famous. I'm gonna stay in
Brooklyn.
Yeah, like no.
It don't work that way.
When you boil the stuff down, there's always like a thing like that where you're like, well, yeah, that's true. It's like that's hard for me to understand. And some people was like, well, maybe they didn't come to him, but he was like, but that's my best friend, that's my brother.
And I was
like,
there.
If you have a best friend and you get a come up like the Illuminati, you gonna over some drinks, you gonna be like, yo, bro, I just want to let you know,
I got the plug.
We
This is
coming
what
up,
we're
we
gonna do.
good.
Right? And the reason why that's such a great point is because Jay-Z wrote his first verse. Like on his album, he wrote the whole verse for Meth Bleak. So it's like, I'm gonna take you wherever I'm gonna go. So the fact that like you leave me out the Illuminati meetings,
it's like
I didn't get my Illuminati chain.
Okay, Illuminati or not, I have to say, because you know how the part of the conspiracy theory is it's like underneath the Denver airport or whatever.
Yeah. Is it?
Illuminati or not, the Denver airport is the weirdest airport in America. Like you walk in there and
I've never been
it's
to Denver.
freaky shit.
Yeah. Let's hold that though. Volume 79, Sunday, October 13th, the Adulthood podcast. We coming in hot, baby.
The Mob Boys is back.
We got right into conspiracy theories. Thank you guys for listening. 347-378-9423.
Holla.
That's the phone number. Leave us a voicemail. Send us a DM. Continue to like and subscribe. We've been doing great numbers on YouTube. Continue to comment. Let us know how much you love the
or
podcast.
hate us. There's been a lot of hate on the IG. We welcome
I don't
it.
even see the hate.
Ooh.
It's all love to me.
Ooh.
You know, it's all love.
They're helping out.
Yeah, it's all helping. It's all helping get pushed out.
Yes, sir.
Get the memes and the reels all pushed out. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Holla.
I'm Ian Lara. This is DJ APM. We got Carmen as the producer and Johan behind the thing, pressing the buttons.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, we got right into it. But the Denver airport is,
I've never been.
at the very minimum, they say is haunted.
But what's so freaky about it?
It's like, first of all, there's no real ceiling. Like it's like these like weird, you've been a million times,
many
I'm
times,
sure,
yeah.
like white canopies over it. You like go into this like galley to do security. Like it's just creepy. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
It feels
And Denver airport does have tunnels because it
The snow.
snows in Denver and it just makes it easier. But I think probably what's more true, I think I heard a theory that it was built on Indian burial grounds,
there's
which
like
that makes
Native
a lot more
American.
sense than like, I don't know, the Illuminati own it.
Don't they have like murals of like aliens and shit?
They have super weird murals of like people being massacred and like it's bad vibes in there if you're hungover. That's all I'm gonna say.
They're redoing it. They're redoing it. So
It needs to be
construction?
a major
yeah.
facelift.
It's like JFK.
It's like new, it's like some new terminals in there. But that's one. But I don't know. Sometimes I feel like even with the Illuminati or some lore, like in Hollywood, I was having this conversation recently. I think sometimes like people put this thing on Hollywood where I'm like, people are just people. Like if you go down through the history of people, mankind, read the book Sapiens, like people just behave like people no matter what they're in. Like there's no real group of people that doesn't behave as other people behave, even if they don't have the same power or money. Obviously, powerful people have more leverage. They have the ability to do more stuff. But at the end of the day, Hollywood or fame, whatever, they're just people. There's a notion now that like everyone in Hollywood is gay. And I'm like, that's impossible. No, everyone is not gay in anything and everyone is not straight.
But everybody shits, B.
Right.
People is people.
Yeah, no, I agree. The people are just being people. So in every aspect, there's like bad people, there's good people.
Does that rumor come around like every 7 years or something like that? Like Haley's comment? Like everyone being gay in Hollywood?
I mean, people just be saying it. People be warning me. People be sitting me down like, "Hey, man,
no, for real.
I know you're trying to get this Hollywood thing, but listen, when they offer the gay shit, just be like, nah."
No. That's hilarious. That's
and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just not famous enough for the gay shit.
But my thing is, who did they hear that from?
No one. They're not famous.
They just make exactly.
They're not famous.
Like, where did they come up with the theory? And
Cat Williams
to speak it to you.
Cat Williams.
And then, but then they'll use stuff like, well, look at what's going on with Diddy, and he's like, yeah, that's just like a bad character in the thing,
and
like,
that's and they act
bad
like
characters exist. That would be like me saying everyone's a pedophile, and then when you ask me for examples, I give you an example of a pedophile. It's like, yeah, that's a pedophile. It's a bad character.
But people act like they don't have bad characters in their friends, in their families. Right. Like there's bad characters. Yo, there's good people and there's bad people.
And everything.
Yeah.
And bad people tend to like, they gravitate towards each other, but they also like, there's bad people where they also know how to manipulate people. Like they become very skilled at what they do. That happens in families too. You know what I mean? It happens in friends groups.
It happens in everything.
It happens everywhere.
I saw a great Jon Stewart clip from like early days at the Comedy Cellar, and he's like, "What? You open a bag of potato chips, and there's like 100 potato chips. Like obviously 4 or 5 of them were super fucked up and burnt, and like there's whatever." I was like, "That's exactly what humanity is."
Right. Now, people in positions of power, they have more reach and leverage.
Yeah.
So they seem like they're because like a bad actor who's poor or unhoused, right? You're like, what is he gonna? I mean, rob people, but
they're the town drunk.
Yeah,
and that's it.
You don't have the power, but if you give that person the power and the ability to throw freak offs, then it might get a little sketchy.
It might get a lot of.
And I'm not standing up for Hollywood. There's a lot of bad characters in Hollywood, but there's a lot of bad characters on the A train.
That's very true. I just got off the A train earlier. Big shout out to everybody that was going up to Dykeman. But at the same time too, it's like, you know what? Bad characters aside, there's things that are like bigger than the bad characters, right? Where it's just like you might have all of the power and leverage in the world, but then somebody in your family is stricken with like a life-ending disease. That power, that leverage that you yield over people doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like this. I feel like life, the world, the universe has a way of balancing out all of that type of stuff. Where it's just like, it brings you down to like a level where it's just like, it honestly is probably better to just be like, I don't even want to say a good person, just like a genuine person, like an honest person, where it's just like, you know what? I'm not going to the freak off, son. I'm gonna go to Waffle House with my family.
Also, to be clear on freak offs,
if everybody signs off,
sometimes
you need a freak off.
You don't know if you don't know the extent of the freak off till you're in the freak off. Sometimes you just think like, yo, come through. I'm getting the hose. The hose is coming through. The bros is coming through. We gonna chill. And you go, and then, you know, sure, the 1,000 bottles of baby oil, that probably should have been like, hey, you know, things is gonna get weird here. But we've all been like, it's such a fake. Like I know people who are talking about Diddy, who I'm like, you've thrown parties where you've invited girls and you've invited guys and you wanted them to be a freak off. You couldn't afford the baby oil. Say that.
Say that.
Sorry, I'm getting
no, but the thing is too, it's just like, and of course that's an extreme situation, but there's also like private sex parties, private sex clubs where everybody's of age and they sign off for the signed off freak off.
People are going to sex clubs.
Legit.
Right.
So it's like,
just raise your hand.
Oh, whoa.
Oh, you just said it right.
Like, whoa.
No, I thought you had a story.
You know, if you're a willing participant where you know, like, I'm going to the freak off,
that's fine.
More power to you.
Yeah, that's
you
fine.
know what I'm saying?
But there's nothing wrong with a freak off if everybody agrees.
Knows and they agree. Or and even if it pops
that's
off,
a Saturday night.
Right?
But
that's right.
consent is the key
That's
piece.
the key. That is the key. But like,
which was obviously lacking.
Like you said, you could go, you could get an invite. Yo, I have some people coming through. We got the tequila going. We got some Korean barbecue going. Oh, I love Korean barbecue. You know, I'm eating the banchan or whatever.
I have to say, Korean barbecue and a sex party are not
not
the same night for me.
I enjoy it because I really like Korean food.
But if it pops off, it's just like, okay, I came for the chicken and now I'm leaving because I didn't sign up for this. Right? But more power to y'all if y'all want to do your thing. But nah, I got the spicy, the lemon pepper, and I'm out.
Look, I don't want to be controversial.
Nah, son, go for it.
Consent is the key. That's what's important.
That's the key.
But a lot of people talking about Diddy who I know invited me to freak offs. And I'm not going to say y'all names.
That's the clip.
Yeah. I think the main.
Why you talking low?
I know.
Speak up.
Oh, I think the key thing, like Carmen was saying, is like I think the consent was lacking.
The consent
at his freak off.
But I don't hear people stressing that part about it.
Yeah,
I don't hear people stressing the consent part. People are stressing like the baby oil. It's like if everyone agrees, who cares about the baby oil?
I think exploiting women without their consent is old hat. Not a headline.
I mean,
1,000 bottles of lube is a headline. Women being exploited and treated horribly is old hat.
Isn't that sad?
Yeah, but
it is.
I think even in like that's news headlines, and you know, so for their defense, they're like, look, news people get it bad. I feel like because people be like, why don't you tell the news? And they're like, well, why don't you read the news? You don't like the news. You like the headline.
People can't
so
read.
We make the headlines. If we didn't make this, we would not sell.
People can't read.
Right. So it's like, whatever. And I'm not making, the news, every news, whatever. They're big corporations. But I just mean like normal, like the people who I speak to, when they bring up the stuff, they don't be bringing the consent part about it, which I'm like, that's the crime.
You know what? And I might be going on a tangent here, but then you speak to people who are like, man, I don't even have the time for none of this. My kid is sick. My mom is sick. I'm 2 months late on my mortgage. Like you speak to real people where they're like, oh, wait, that's going on? Like I have so much things going on in my actual life that I don't even have the bandwidth for all of this nonsense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, man, I had a friend who his daughter has like, a terminal illness.
Oh, wow.
And he's just like, oh, wait, that's going on. Like, I'm trying to figure out like how to console my family.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I appreciate those perspectives because they bring me down to ground. Like they ground me where it's just like, okay, all of that stuff might be going on the internet, all of the conspiracies and stuff, but people are going through real life at the same time.
Yeah, you only have 24 hours in the day and 8 of them are at work. And then 12 awake, 15 awake.
All right, I have to clear something up.
Clear it up.
My friends did not invite me to freak off.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I spoke out of turn. I don't want to put that out there.
Yeah, you said on the last episode you've never been invited to a sex party.
No, never been invited to a sex party. Well, I've never been invited to a white sex party because a white sex party, like they put, we're gonna have sex in the invitation. Like a black sex party or urban sex party is more like we're gonna see what the vibes are. And we can't call it before we get there.
And it's not gonna be it's usually not gonna be in front of everyone. There's gonna be a back room.
Right.
So it's almost like
that's just culture thing. Yeah. It's no one is better than the other.
Yeah.
That's just culture thing.
Difference.
What I find, like my white friends who speak to me about sex parties, they go. Like they're not wearing underwear, they're like shaving.
We love an excuse to celebrate.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then at a urban one, it's more like it was a party and then we went into the room and that happened.
It turned into, but everybody's not exposed to the back room.
But everybody's not exposed
it's in the back room.
To the freaks.
Yeah.
That's what got Diddy indicted.
Come out at night. What?
That's what got Diddy indicted though. Like,
what?
That exact thing that you're saying.
The back room?
The fact that they wasn't on the invitation.
Black and white. He was trying to blend black sex with white sex.
And you can't
And then he got carried away.
Those are two distinctly different kind of sex.
Right. And look, I have a mustache, so I know what I'm talking about when I talk about sex. And my friends who have been to sex parties, my white friends, they shock me when they tell me the story. They shock me. They be like, I walked in and they was getting it on, and I'm like, but like, was there drinks or hors d'oeuvres? What was going on? And they was like, I just walked in and they was getting it on. I'm not really comfortable with other people
having sex. I was just about to go there, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, keep your sex to yourself.
Yeah, I'm not one of those guys, you know. Some people make a fuss about, like, for example, they'll feel weird about seeing like two men kiss, right? Two men being like super affectionate. And they're like, oh, I don't want to see that. And I don't want to see that. But I also don't want to see a man and a woman kiss.
No,
I don't want to see that either. Keep all of that to yourself.
Keep all of that to yourself.
All of that in private. I don't want to see it. I don't do it publicly.
But you know, when I
don't do it publicly.
I see it DJing. And it's just like, oh, you didn't know that she just threw up and she kissed another guy? Like,
yes.
It's like, it gives me the Bee Gees.
Yeah. Is that not fair?
I think you not wanting to see people have sex in front of you. Yeah, I think that's fair. You're at a party. Yeah, it's your valuable weekend night.
Well, I mean, like the thing of people who think that like something gay might be uncomfortable, but if you also think straight is uncomfortable, then that's you're treating them the same.
No, I think that's unilateral hate.
Yeah, like I hate everyone.
Yes, absolutely. That's accepted.
Right. That's accepted. You can't specify that.
No.
You can't single people out.
I don't keep all of your PDA to yourself.
Right. Or PDA.
Mm-hmm.
Like I be seeing heterosexual couples making out. I'm like, what are y'all doing?
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I think
you DJing those where I'm like, but you're DJing typically what, like a club? I'm like, yeah, you're gonna see that. Like people don't have their full faculties finding love on the dance floor.
Yeah, people
it's gonna happen.
I see it at comedy shows.
I saw a girl get her wig knocked off.
That's like common now.
No, but like from a dance move.
Yeah.
It was a Caribbean spot. Mm-hmm. And you know, Caribbeans, they tend to like basically replicate sex on the dance floor. Mm-hmm. So the guy picks this girl up. She wasn't the lightest. So like it's also another thing too where like guys want to show how strong they are, like, I'm strong. So he picks her up and starts, replicating the sexual move. And she's like,
They did not stick the landing.
No, but the wig did, because she's like, and then the wig flew off. And I'm just like, lady, like, is this what you came out for?
So you bring up a good point, because how Jamaican, like if you ever been to like a Jamaican dance hall party, the way you see them dance, how they be like daggering on a dance floor, that's how white people behave at sex parties. But without clothes. Yeah. Like when like you'll walk in and they'll just be, and you'll be like, whoa. But at a Jamaican party, they have their clothes on, so you're like, this is art.
This is art.
This isn't like a sexual.
Totally. It's trendy. Yeah, it's trendy now.
I mean, but now in 2024, ladies go out naked to the club. So it's almost like a sex party.
That's one of the things that I think when we were talking about things we'll look back on and be like, what the hell? I'm like, what my friends and I wear out? I'm like, no way we're all going to be moms in 10 years.
Oh,
like,
no, but you
nothing. We are nothing.
How big is your group of friends?
You will.
Like the crew, like that goes out.
Of single women?
Yeah. Or not, just like the crew. Like if you were
I'll probably, like if we're going out to like go dance or something, like probably, I mean, depending on the night, like 10 to 18, depending on
18 girls?
You roll like the Wu-Tang.
Oh, no. Whoa. There's a few gay guys in there for sure.
Of course.
No, I would say,
I mean,
I have a lot. Yeah, I have a lot of female
8
friends who are still, to quote you two, out.
But
outside.
18 people in total, like, hey, we're going. That's the Wu-Tang. You guys were like the RZA.
I don't even know how to plan that.
18 people?
There wasn't 18 people at my show Sunday.
What?
And
you're going to full clubs with this group of people. That's a party.
Depends.
That's deep. What's the immediate?
Who are you in the friends group?
What's the immediate
role?
I'm a coordinator. I bring people together. Like
that's an important role.
Yeah, I think I just hit 5 years in New York, so now I'm at a point where like my high school friends and my college friends know like ex-coworkers, and there's a lot of us who I feel like got out of relationships like 2 years ago. So a lot of people are, to quote you two, outside stuff.
Yeah,
I was gonna say outside. So I have a good squad right now, but we'll see as people get cuffed up. I'm sure it'll happen over the next year or so.
Yeah, they'll drop. They start dropping.
I'm already feeling it. Like I was talking to my therapist about it. I was like, I feel like I'm about to be the last woman standing.
It changes things.
It does.
It changes things too, like on the age range where like, all right, like let's say you stick with your college sweetheart, but then everybody else that you graduated with was single. So then like they did like their early to mid 20s single, and then they get into relationships later versus the people who were like even married at like 22, 23. and then they're like divorced at like 29, 30. Like it's a different age range and like their mentality is different, right? So you're going to see that.
The people who got married at 22 and are divorced at 30, those are the people at the sex parties.
Asking for more.
That might be where my husband is.
Asking for more.
I'm pretty sure
he's there.
One of them.
He's
one
there.
Of your husbands
He's there right now.
At a sex party.
He's listening to this like, oh, it's me. Yeah.
Dude, you know what's crazy? I've had people, like the people that I've heard stories of from sex parties I've heard 3 different people tell me stories and they were all women. I never had a guy tell me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was all women. As a guy, it's like hard to get into. It's not like,
because you can't be a weirdo.
Yeah.
It's a very
it's not like
fine
open
line.
to the public as a guy. For the women, they're like, yeah, bring all 18 of them. But for the guys, they're like, whoa, you got to send your resume and fingerprints.
Yeah, legit. And your social
gonna-
security card, we got to run a background check.
Right.
No, that's for sure. Yeah.
If
Free
you're gonna be-
references.
Definitely. Yeah.
If you're going to be invited to this.
I had a friend that went to a sex party, a guy.
A guy?
Yeah.
I only had a girlfriend. I had a girl. She told me she went with her boyfriend.
He told me the story and it was just like, it was kind of crazy. Should I expound?
Sure.
So
Love a story.
I'm cuffed up. And you know, like when you're cuffed up, you kind of want to hear these stories like, wait, that's what's really going on? Like all of my single friends now, they're like, it's terrible dating out there. The water's there. Well, good for you. Sorry. But he was telling me that like, so he went to a party. This is years ago. Him and his boy, they went to a sex party in Jersey. It was BYOB. It was at like...
Bring your own bitches.
Yes. No, that counts, but also beverages.
Oh.
They had to pay a cover.
BYOB's like you could provide liquor if we gonna be
doing all
freaking
this.
off.
This I'm telling you what he told me. So he was just like, so the terminology, I can't believe I remember this like this, but he was like, the terminology to engage in the action is, do you want to play? So like there's rules. You can't just be like, are you trying to get it in? Like, and the girl has to ask you if you want to play. So he was there. He's chilling at the bar, and it's weird. It's BYOB, but they have a bartender to serve you your own drinks. Like, okay, bro, you got played, but whatever.
I'm certainly not.
And you had to pay to get in there, and they have to serve your own drinks. I'm like, okay, cool. So he was just like, he was there, he was chilling at the bar. His homeboy had already gone downstairs, was doing, was having a good time, and he was just like, it was his first time. He was nervous. He didn't know what the rules were. And then he was just like, okay. So there was a couple. A guy came in with the girl, his wife, and then like their friend, their +1. And the husband and the +1 go downstairs. So it's just the wife that's chilling by the bar. So my homeboy is just like, you know what? I'm going to shoot my shot and ask the lady, do you want to play? She says, yeah. So he goes downstairs. They like do whatever. They start engaging. The husband is doing whatever with the +1 friend. So like it's my homeboy and the wife now. And, they start getting it in. And I'm like, bro, you just get it in there. So you're having sex with someone's wife in front of him while he's having sex. Like, what kind of warped world are you living in? And he's just like, bro, that's where I was at in my life. I'm like, okay, cool. So then, and this is where I was just like, all right, I got to exit stage left. Because he was just like, so he's doing whatever. And then the husband is trying to coach him on how to pleasure his wife. And my friend was an asshole. He was just like, I don't know if I'm going to listen to you, bro, because first of all, my wife wouldn't be in here. And second of all, that's not what her screams are saying. And I was just like, okay, I don't need to hear any more of this story. And then we just had Korean fried chicken.
Man, listen, we're not. This is not this is not a slut shaming podcast, but some people are just into, they're into whatever they're into, and we respect it. But again, the key is consent. That is the key.
Consenting adults.
Everything we said here today involves consenting adults.
Yes.
You can't pressure or force somebody to accompany you to a freak off.
Yeah.
They have to want to do it.
Yeah.
And then y'all do whatever y'all want.
1,000.
Which that reminds me, I opened for Gladys Knight.
How did it go? Yeah.
Yeah. That was
how did it go?
Friday. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I was worried about it the whole time because again, I kind of just took the gig just because I wanted to. I was just trying to build
show off your mustache
stories. I was just trying to find I'm like, maybe it'll be a good story. Maybe it'll be a good thing. So I'm like, I took it. I knew that it wasn't, they sent it in the offer, it wasn't going to be my per se audience. They were like, look, the average age is gonna be 60 years old, so you have to keep it clean. You have to,
Can I ask a question?
Please.
So is there a range of cougar or is there something after cougar?
What do you mean?
Because
Because it's MILF.
60 plus. Yeah, it's MILF, then cougar, or MILF and cougar are interchangeable.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it was couples though.
Okay.
It was married.
All right.
It wasn't like single women.
All right, because like what's
Fashion family fun.
Yeah,
Oh, all
it was
right.
like
All right,
it was like
cool.
family fun. Yeah,
All right.
it was all family.
Okay,
it was all
cool.
full family.
I'm just saying. I don't know.
No, yeah, that's a good question.
Post cougar.
But yeah, it was all families, and the whole day, I was kind of worried about it because it's a kind of gig which I'm like, you want to do a good job, but also going into it, like I've said before, comedy, comedy has no genres, but in reality, there is genres, right? Like not everything is funny to everyone. Some people like clean comedy, some people like dirty, some people like relationship stuff, some people like political stuff. There's different genres, and one person doesn't appeal to everyone. Even though people may believe that, whoever you think your favorite comic is, no matter who he is, he bombs too. You put him in front of a crowd that doesn't like his genre, and he'll bomb too. So the whole time I'm thinking like, do your best, but there's a pretty good shot that you're gonna bomb at this. You go up cold, like they just throw you up. They don't even say like there's a comedian. They don't know what's happening. They're there to see Gladys Knight.
They're not there to see comedy.
Right? No, not at all. And they don't even know a comedian's coming. And then like the curtains go up, and then you just come out, and you just gotta go. So I'm like, already it's not set up for me to succeed in my mind. But I'm like, at the very worst, going to there, I was like, you know what? If it goes terrible, I was kind of like, maybe it'll go terrible, but I'm gonna have a great story of it go terrible. So I was kind of leaning towards like, if it goes terrible, it'll be kind of funny.
So you win either way.
In the time, I'm like, I'm gonna hate it. I'm gonna have to like sneak out the back and duck by Gladys on the way out. But I was like, you know what? You agreed to it, so let's do it. So I drove out there. It was in New Jersey at the NJ Center. It's like a 3,000 seat venue.
Wow.
Yeah, big venue. And I showed up, and her team was really, really nice. And I had asked them, I'm like, are you guys like, do you guys usually have comedians open up or whatever? And it's so funny. Everyone on her team was like, nah, we never even heard of no shit like this. So I'm like, all right.
So why now?
I thought I was
you?
just filling in because like the normal comic couldn't go. And they were like, nah, we usually have music. We don't even know why she would even have you. Like that was like, I know they were nice, but that was kind of like what they was telling me. But they was like,
You're
look,
just that good.
they were like, it should be fine. You funny, right? You here. Like that was kind of their energy. Like you here, you probably funny. So I showed up about an hour, 2 hours before, and we was all backstage with like her band, and they had food for everyone, and it was cool. Gladys is 80 years old, so she doesn't show up until her thing is timed out perfectly. Like before you go on, she says her handler says I'm 20 minutes out. And they'll be like, all right, you go up, you do 20 minutes. As soon as you get off, she'll go on. And that's how it was. Like when they were ready for me, the show started at 8. At like 8:02, they were like, okay, she says she's 20 minutes out. You go up, you do 20 minutes. She walks in, takes off her jacket, gets right on stage. Like she doesn't like see nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
So
Wow.
So yeah, so I was getting ready to go on, and I look in the audience, and there was a lot more whites than I expected. It was like I expected a bunch of 60-year-old church-going black folk, I thought it was gonna be a lot of like, amen, and won't he do it?
Yes, he will.
But I look and I'm like, oh, there's a lot of whites in here. Like Gladys got a lot of older whites.
Yeah.
And we were in Newark, so you don't know. It could go either way in Newark. So
How do you think you did?
So I went out there, at first, they like the show, because they're seating, right? You're warming up while they're seating. So the show's not fully seated as you go up. So you kind of got to play to like the front. And the NJ Pack is also such a big theater. Like the ceilings are so high. So it's not conducive to comedy. But I went out there and I'm like, just do your time, whatever. Like they'll, as people come, they'll focus in and people fall in. So at first when I went out, it was a lot of like people sitting and commotion. And I was supposed to do 20 minutes, and I was doing, bits here and there. Some of them, it was hitting in pockets, but I couldn't get like the whole room. Around like probably like 6-7 minutes in, I got like a big laugh. Like I got like the whole room.
You got him.
Yeah, and I got like everyone to laugh. And after that, I was like, but also I was remembering that you had to be clean. So
Oh shit.
when people tell you have to be clean, you never know what clean is. You're like, what's clean?
Right.
Like, cause I could not curse and be dirty.
Dirty.
Or
yeah.
I could say a clean joke that has a curse in it. So you kind of gotta judge on your own. So in my head, I'm trying to like remember like jokes that I might have a curse or I might reference sex. I'm trying to clean it up as I'm doing it. I'm trying to like
live
edit it. So some of them I feel like they didn't hit as big as it would hit if I had the thing of
the
like
usual,
like to just free range to just do what I do. But I did get them, and the last like 10 minutes were good, and the laughs, they were like they carry over, they were consistent. Yeah, so it wasn't a bad gig. Like I got off stage and I was like, all right, that was good. Like I felt like I warmed them up.
Yeah.
So I got off stage and I walked backstage, and you know everyone was like, her whole team was like, oh, that was great,
That's
job,
awesome.
you did a great job. And the band sits in, and like 30 seconds later, she walks in with her handler. She has like a jacket. She took her jacket off. She was like in a shiny diamond outfit. She was so nice. She was just like hi to everyone. She's like, hey, hi to everyone. She's like a lovable grandma. But she said hi to everyone, and then she went out and then rocked it. She does like about an hour show. 80 years old.
80 years old.
80 years old.
That's
still
amazing.
singing, not lip singing, still singing, still rocking out.
Wow.
And it was a fun experience for
Did you
what
stay
it
for
is.
the show? You stayed
Yeah,
for the
I stood.
concert?
I watched the show.
That's amazing.
I watched a concert. It was a fun experience. I mean, I'm yes-anding a lot of things right now in my career where I'm doing stuff that because initially when I got that, I said no. And then my agents and managers was kind of like, you got to do this.
It's
like,
Gladys Knight.
Yeah.
You could have been a pip.
Yeah.
Who's a pip for the night, bro?
Right. So it was very cool. It was very dope to be backstage.
That's super cool. Shout out to Gladys.
And be with like music royalty. She has like 20 Grammys or something like that.
Yeah. You know what? You bring up a good point where it's just like, man, especially a lot of these new performers, what's his name? Ian? I don't know. Does he have an hour worth of hits?
No, I mean, these guys make 2-minute songs now. It's
Legit.
just for TikTok.
Right?
It's for TikTok.
Like, and she's 80 years old. She's been doing this since the 60s.
She retired because I looked up a little bit of her history because the band was Gladys Knight and the Pips. And the Pips were like her brother and 2 of her cousins, I believe.
Keep it in the family. I respect that.
They retired in like 87 and something like that. When they retired, when the Pips retired from singing with her, she had already been singing with them for 37 years.
Jesus.
And that was in 87. So since 87, she went on by herself and had another career of 30 plus years, 36, 35 years. So this is like 60 plus years
of music.
Of music singing. Like she was singing since she was like 12, 13.
That's crazy.
So that's incredible. She's seen it all.
Yeah.
She's seen everything. Like
she's definitely has.
She's seen every artist, So I wanted to be, that's why I kind of wanted to be part of that. And you know, it makes you feel like, okay, you know, I'm in it. I'm in the things.
You moving the right direction.
I'm in the things.
You one of the Pips. Nah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening to the Adulthood podcast. If you guys want to see me live on the road, I'm in Raleigh at the Raleigh Improv this weekend, the 18th and the 19th.
Shout out Carolina.
And next, in 2 weeks, November 1st and 2nd, I'm at the Comedy Zone in Greenville, South Carolina. And the 7th to the 9th, I'm at the Punchline in Houston. So come see me live.
H-Town, what it do, baby?
Where you gonna be at?
I'm gonna be at Panda, and then I got private events. But you know, follow me at IMDJ 8 p.m.
Thank you guys for listening to Adulthood Podcast. Tune in next week. Peace.
Woo.